Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Welcome. This is the Sports Trapp Podcast, and my name is John Trapp. And as always, my man, to my right, Christopher C-Rod. What is your new nickname?
Brown Mamba, baby.
Brown Mamba. Rodriguez. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. It's been a rough week, but we made it. We're here. All positivity.
And a man on the ones and twos, Mr. Khoa. What's your new nickname?
Should I be the yellow mamba now? Like,
well,
nice.
See, man, I'm gonna leave you to that one. Yeah. I'm staying away from that one.
But
of course, you can say it.
Okay. Only I can say it. All right. So, man,
ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 30. Thank you for joining us. We did actually have a special 824 tribute to the one and only Kobe Bryant. Hope you check that out. Sending wishes and condolences to Kobe Bryant and his family and everybody involved. Please leave some comments, and this is our gift to you guys, our gift to everybody that was involved in that unfortunate tragedy. But yeah, check that out, man. So we're episode 30. So this is a big episode, Super Bowl preview.
30 is the new 20.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take it.
I guess it works. So yeah, Super Bowl preview. Astros look like they got somebody
Dustin Baker
in the ranks. Somebody hungry. So we'll see what comes of that. And a little Australian Open news. Did you see the guy giving? I wish I could remember the name, but there are so many people from so many different countries. The guy a couple days ago came out in a Kobe jersey at the beginning of the tennis match.
That was
Nick
Kyrgios.
That was dope.
Kyrgios. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He's actually Australian, I believe.
He was from Australia.
Yeah,
okay,
so he was playing the Australian Open. He's kind of like the hometown favorite, but he was playing Nadal that game. And it's funny because he's if you follow him, he's probably one of the most controversial players. He's one of those players that loves to troll, and his style. If you follow tennis, like his style of play is very unconventional. Mm-hmm. I mean, he can hang with the best of them. I mean, he's really, really good. But he'll introduce like a little more like trick plays. Like he'll do like a drop shot.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
More often than not. But the way that he does it and his enthusiasm for it, like, I mean, he's one of those. He's definitely super fun to watch. But he's one of those guys where you love or hate.
Oh, really?
100%. But in his warm up, he was wearing Kobe jersey, and I kind of wish he wore it like the whole game. That would have been that would have been really cool.
But Nadal actually won that, but he actually dedicated this win to Kobe Bryant, which was nice. Did you also see Neymar after a penalty?
Yeah, absolutely.
He dedicated 2-4 to Kobe Bryant. That was cool. Did y'all see anything else in the sports world that
all over the Pro Bowl?
I'm talking about on the field, on the
Pro Bowl
court,
all over the Pro Bowl. I mean, that was the same day. And I think after a couple of even defensive plays, we had I think it was like either Jalen Smith or somebody that put up 2-4, and then a couple other players after scoring put up 2-4, and then doing like the fadeaway. I think Devontae Adams, when he scored one, he put up 2-4, and then he even did the 360 dunk on the goalpost.
Oh yeah,
yeah. A lot of people did the fadeaway.
I saw a lot of people on the basketball court actually do the 8-second violation, the 24-second violation.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that those penalties are the numbers of Kobe Bryant?
Oh yeah, it's like so.
It's almost as
if people believe in that kind of stuff, but it's so coincidental or so kind of neat. At the end of the day, it's pretty cool.
Because it's always, I think it's always funny that like ESPN, of course, is always known for like bringing up these crazy stats. And I'm like, how did you find that number that correlates with that? And it's like, I feel like almost in any circumstance, you can look for these things, and like something will match up. Right. But then you present that one thing, that one stat, and people are like, "Oh, that's crazy! How did that?" But I will say, I think I feel like it was even more coincidental how these numbers stacked up. Like especially the one where it is when they put Trae Young and Devin Booker's numbers for that day where they both took 24 shot attempts.
Yeah.
Combined, they made 24 shot attempts, and then combined points was 81 points.
81, yeah.
And then just like a couple of other stats, and I was just like, wow.
Something's just come full circle. Also, too, John, definitely if you haven't, and if you don't do it. But if you want to, or you haven't, and you want to do it, I was one of the people that signed a petition for them to change
the logo, right?
to Kobe. I just think I think that's something that just needs to happen. I think that just takes precedence. And I know for Jerry West that would mean something too, because I know how much Jerry West loved Kobe Bryant. So
man, that was a tough interview. But yeah, I don't. Not that I'm opposed to it. I just don't see it happening. That would be amazingly cool. But I see more teams like putting patches on, and actually retiring the jersey. Where we had this one player, Alec Burke, is gonna switch from 8 to 20. We have, I think the
Mavericks.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. That's who
switched to 26 from 8.
It's kind of cool, and he's like all up for retiring those numbers for the entire NBA. I just think, I love the logo idea as well, but something to me has to change as far as the NBA is concerned, as far as like memorializing Kobe Bryant in a sense of forever. Like whether it's changing the logo. But it's just because nothing like this has ever happened.
Nothing.
Especially in the NBA.
Nothing.
Bill Russell's still alive. Like somebody said something that shocked me. I think it was Wilt Chamberlain and then somebody else. Everybody that's like either a part of the top 50 or the Hall of Fame that's been a player, they're all still alive.
They're all still alive.
And so for this to happen, it was so...
NBA changed the logo.
Unexpected, but it'd be so cool to memorialize them in some way that's not just today and not for the year, which I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if the Rockets don't win it, dude, I'm sorry.
I'm secretly rooting for the Lakers. I would never say this, but
who would have thought, dude, the beginning of the season?
Not only that,
we'd
but
be rooting for the Lakers.
Not only that, but I mean, golly, you have to be rooting for LeBron James now more than ever. For him to break his record, get the message from Kobe, and less than 24 hours later, you find out the person that you look up to, idolize, was no longer there. And I think that's the thing, too, that people don't realize is like all these young basketball players that we've become so amazed with, they were watching Kobe the way we were watching Michael Jordan.
Right.
And it's tell on. You're talking about some of the teams, but the Mavericks, Mark Cuban went ahead and retired the number 24 altogether, so no one can ever wear that. And it looks like, which will be like powerful, is that the Lakers play their game Friday, right? Against the Blazers. That should be huge. It should be really emotional.
Big.
And then from what I'm hearing, Friday night, the Rockets versus the Mavericks, they're telling everybody to come early. They're going to do a special tribute to Kobe Bryant. And that's one thing that's interesting, is that we haven't heard James Harden or Russell Westbrook talk about Kobe, but we do know how much Kobe influenced their games, and the fact that some of her favorite players are actually Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
That's cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with the show. Again, check out the special tribute that we have for Kobe Bryant. Both will be posted up very soon. And Super Bowl picks, Super Bowl winner this Sunday, 5 o'clock Central Time on Fox. Man, Fox? I will be ecstatic, ready. I will be cooking some fajitas if Christopher Rodriguez, Joshua Cruz and family. And actually, an extended invitation, but some people have to go to Las Vegas. They already made plans. They no invite, but it's cool. It's cool, But no, I'm ready for this Sunday to get it on. Super Bowl, LIV. By the way, LIV.
Well, I mean, everybody is. I mean, the foreshadowing and the excitement, and everybody is just wanting to know, John, who are you going to pick to win the Super Bowl? I mean, you left us with such a what would you say?
Impassioned.
I know last week.
Oh, cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You left us cliffhanger. You didn't know who you were going to
I've
pick.
thought about it long and hard. I've sat down and contemplated.
Long and hard, okay.
And it took me about a good 30 seconds.
There it is.
To figure out
seconds.
who I thought was going to win the Super Bowl. So, without further ado, in true fashion, Super Bowl LIV, Super Bowl champs, 2020, San Francisco 49ers. That is my pick. I will go and leave the floor to you guys. I don't think there's much more I can say that haven't been said.
Well,
but,
who's winning MVP?
Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo for sure.
You definitely knew the answer to that one. You didn't have to ask that.
All right. I was just joking. Like, I was really going to give you guys the floor. But here's the reasoning why San Francisco 49ers will win the championship, the Super Bowl this year. And it goes because of this. Essentially, it boils down to this. And then I will actually give you guys the floor. But all I got to say is this. 49ers, all they have to stop is one man. One man, they stop, they win automatically. And that is Patrick Mahomes. Now, on the flip side, the Chiefs, you have to stop the run. All right? But then the run, you take away the run, you've already been proven Jimmy G can throw the ball too. So then you got to stop Jimmy G. Oh, but then you are forgetting the four-headed monster that is the defensive line of the San Francisco 49ers, led by none other, one of the greatest rookies to ever come out of the draft, and Nick Bosa. Hey, man, you got all those three-tiered attacks you have to stop. That's not enough. You do not have the firepower in that wheelhouse. Hey, man, it's over. It's done. San Francisco 49ers champions, a Super Bowl LIV 2020.
Woo! Is that decided?
And Garoppolo's your MVP.
See, I think they're going to stop the run. They're going to, stop and focus on the run, which, Mostert might have a good game. Shoot, Tevin Coleman might have a good game. Breed is still out there. I don't see Mostert having one of those monster games. I'm not saying he can't, but their focus is going to be on the run. All you hear about is the run, monster run. Jimmy Garoppolo's only thrown 8 passes. Jimmy Garoppolo only threw 12 passes. Whatever.
I don't even want to say anything about Garoppolo. If you watch the last episode, that is a very, very touchy subject. Khoa, my man. Khoa Fu, tell me, what are you going to do? Who are you picking? Who's your MVP? Who's winning the game?
Woo! Well, I'll say the line is at 1 or 1.5 for Chiefs.
Even Vegas don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is a toss-up, but I don't see how Chiefs lose it, man. To me, I respect the Niners game.
My invitation to you has been revoked.
No fajitas for you, Khoa. No fajitas for you.
But man, I think it's going to be a great game. And I think it's going to be really up to the Niners defense. You said Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, and the whole lot, just to see if they can stop the offense that is Pat Mahomes and the rest of the Chiefs. But if they catch any sort of heat, man, I think, and never be telling, because I think it really will be up to Jimmy G to really step it up come to the plate and deliver, and to be put on that MVP performance. Because I think, I hear your argument and saying that, you do trust him 100% and whatnot. But I think the thing that's been tough is he hasn't had to show it yet. You your team is, I think, so complete, all around, and how the defense has been able to let them kind of like rest easy and have easy games and only throw 7 or 8 passes. And I don't know if this is going to be one of those games where he's going to be let off the hook that easy. He's actually going to really have to prove whether he can put the team on his back and actually go out there and win it with offense. And so if it comes to that, I don't know. I don't have as much faith in him as you do. But like I said, I'm still sticking with Chiefs. I think it'll be a good game, though. I think it'll be close, but I think it'll be by a field goal or a touchdown going to Chiefs.
Chris, help your boy out.
Listen,
let him know.
I know. I'm outnumbered here, dude. I was like, dude, all this Niner gear around me. Like, what's going on?
I have a question to ask you. What colors are the Chiefs wearing that day?
I've thought about that.
I
think they're going to be white.
I think they're wearing white.
White.
Mahomes' color is going to be green because his ass is going to be on the grass all day long. Listen, I am not a Garoppolo fan. I do not think Garoppolo is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game like some people do to my left who are completely delusional. And I also don't believe that the Chiefs are as good as people want to hype them up. Listen, Mahomes is the NFL's version of Steph Curry. Everyone is on the hype train. But listen, if you've ever followed Mahomes' career, this is going to be the hardest, most aggressive, most athletic defense he has ever faced in his whole entire life. Matter of fact, if you go back to his college performances, they were like 56 to 68. He has never, ever faced a team this defensively sound. And I hate to tell you this, John, but it ain't going to be Garoppolo to get the MVP. There's this veteran who's raw, who even said he's doing this for Kobe. He's the man. He's been in this position before. He actually would have to play against a Mahomes-like quarterback, and I think this person's even better than Mahomes, and that's Russell Wilson. The man who's going to take away and is going to be the MVP of the Super Bowl is no other than Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman will have 3 interceptions. Matter of fact, this defense is going to score on the Chiefs. Matter of fact, I see 3 scores just from the defense alone because this is what Mahomes does. He tries to make big plays. They're going to bait him into big plays.
8 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Listen. They're going to bait Mahomes into thinking that he can do these little trick plays, that he can throw off his foot, that he can actually even run to the sideline until he gets hit by good old Mr. Bosa, puts him on his ass, and like, oh, I didn't know that white boy can run. Yes, he can run. The point being is this. Mahomes is going to try to do more than what he can. He's going to leave the game plan, and it's going to show, unfortunately, that Andy Reid will continue in history as being one of the winningest coaches to never win a Super Bowl, all because the 49ers have the best defense in the NFL. Where once they start just shutting down the Chiefs and the Mahomes, all they have to do is one thing. One thing. Shanahan already knows what they're going to do. That's just run the ball. Because guess what? Even if they go 4 and out, the Chiefs will not be able to score against them 49ers. And for everyone who thinks it's going to be a great game, listen, for me it's going to be a great game because I love defense. But for all those people that expecting this high-scoring game, it's not going to happen. I actually see something of like the likes of like 35-17, 49ers.
I honestly don't think it's going to be close.
I don't think it's going to be close.
I don't think it's going to be close.
Ooh! Mahomes going to be looking good in green.
You brought up a good point with Richard Sherman, and he actually did it with Aaron Rodgers last week or a couple weeks ago. Now, but in the NFC Championship game, he did a play that beat Richard Sherman, and eventually Devontae Adams got a touchdown. So they lined up the same way. They did the same things. They showed him the same formation. Richard Sherman said, F that. You ain't going to beat me. I'm going to set a trap for you. That was the end of the game, essentially, when Aaron Rodgers throws it over the top to Devontae Adams. And guess who was sitting there? Good old
Richard Sherman.
You know, I see this being almost like a tribute game to him.
Oh, absolutely.
To Kobe Bryant, because they were asking about his Achilles rupture, and he said Kobe Bryant was the first one
to reach out to him.
I'm guessing he's talking about sports figures, but first one to reach out to him. He literally asked him, Calvin, who he had on the Kobe tribute show. He brought it up. Kobe asked him, "What are you gonna do about it now? You know what from okay, you're hurting. I get that. The process is gonna be long and tough. It's gonna be a grind. But what are you gonna do about it?" And that boy came out, had no agent, signed his contract with millions of dollars of incentives, and has hit everyone. And he's got an interception. If I'm not mistaken, he's got an interception these past 2 playoff games. So I can only imagine him getting at least one this next one.
Nah, he's gonna get MVP. I feel like this is Richard Sherman's game. The amount of football IQ that's on that defense is so superb. They have one of the best defensive coaches in all the NFL. He's gonna have them set and ready. And even when you have the jitters of being in the Super Bowl, if there's anybody that's a veteran that's been there before that can help guide this defense to where they need to be, especially someone who is as elite as Mahomes, is Richard Sherman. That pick for the 49ers is probably one of the biggest picks they could have picked. That's what's gonna pay dividends to win a championship here.
He just brought up the 49ers coach, defensive side. Excuse me. And name is Robert Salah. So I honestly think that I don't know how more dire I could talk about the Texans, but they, moving on to the Texans, they hired a new GM. If you don't know who that is. So
who is the new GM?
Quick,
who is the new GM?
Huh?
Who is the new GM?
What exciting news.
We actually got a real GM now?
Yeah.
Who the hell is he?
What's his name?
You've heard about him before. You've heard about him.
They hired Morey?
Oh, no. Even better.
Who could be better than Daryl Morey? Hinch?
Hey, well, not Hinch.
Luna.
I would actually prefer that. But unfortunately, they did hire good old Bill O'Brien.
Wait.
As their new GM, head of front office.
There's 2 Bill O'Briens now?
No. He's saying they one only.
You're lying.
The one that got blown out
by
the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. I'm sorry to let you know this, but that same guy, not only is he head coach now, he is actually moving up promotion-wise to being the GM of the Houston Texans going forward 2020.
So he absolutely has the most power second. Well, actually, he's tied with Belichick having the most power in the NFL. Who hasn't achieved shit?
I don't know if I'd put it that way, but yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people out there that have incredible jobs. They go out there and they work their asses off. They do so much, and they don't even get a promotion like this. This is ridiculous.
So I bring that up to bring up the fact that in 2020, Robert Salah will be available to you guys, to the Houston Texans. Now I know in 2022 after the year 2020. After the next season of the Houston Texans, I think they're gonna look for a new GM. You can't have Lynch, but you can have my defensive coordinator, Robert Salah.
Oh, thank you
Houston
for allowing.
Texans,
Thank you for allowing.
2021. I'm a fan. I've always been a fan, but now I got invested interest.
This is the Sports Chat Podcast.
I don't know if you're more bothered by what I said or the fact that we hired Bill O'Brien as a GM.
To the left is John.
You can't do anything about it now.
Go 49ers Trapp.
I'm on for Salah to come on. Yeah.
Khoa, a.k.a. can't wrap my heads around the Bill O'Brien got promotion. And I am Chris. Cynical, evil little man that really hates Bill O'Brien. Yeah, so this is the state of the Texans. We have no good news about the Texans. We're going to go back into...
No, that's fine.
No.
Yeah.
And also, we all thought
Moving
Romeo
on.
Crennel was going to be moving on with that. They let him go as defensive coordinator. No, he's still going to be part of the coaching team as some type of special coach. And I don't know how special he can be more than what we saw recently, which was a horrible defensive coach. I don't know. Maybe he's going to bring the water bottles. I don't know. But at this point, Houston fans, tell us how you feel about the Houston Texans. Are you pumped up? Are you excited? You think this is the great move that they promoted Bob to the general manager? Or you're like us that are like just completely flabbergasted at the fact that they would even make this promotion. Either way it goes, I know at the end of the day, we're going to keep cheering for our Houston Texans, and we're going to hope that somehow, some way, that Kyle McNair wakes up and sees the team for what it is, which is...
So
hold on.
So Michael, a friend of the podcast, sent me a question.
Oh.
And he asked me, what's wrong with the Houston Texans, right? So I'm not going to necessarily...
It's a good question. What's wrong?
I'm not going to necessarily not answer it, but I'll answer it by giving you a statement with Kyle McNair. Kyle McNair said, preparations are underway for the 2020 season. I thought it was important to update titles, roles, and responsibilities for Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby, so they have more an accurate reflection of the way that we've been operating for the past 8 months. I was encouraged by the progress of our team that we made on the field this year, which is due in part to our new structure, operating approach, and leaders within our football operations group. I am proud that we provided our fans with many thrilling victories at home, including a playoff win. We delivered another double-digit win season. Our fans deserve that. Now it's time for the organization to get back to work towards our pursuit of a world championship for the city of Houston. End quote.
A world championship? You don't use world championship.
Hey, man.
You mean Super Bowl championship.
Hey,
He doesn't
man.
even know what championship is in the damn NFL.
Is it delusional? Does it sound delusional?
It sounds like fucking like
Or-
Bill
Well, I
O'Brien
mean,
wrote this shit.
I think it's weird because, I mean, he's talking about it, but it's just more of the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's obviously, he even said it. It's like, we like the progress from, I guess, the past 8 months or whatever. So I feel like even though there's title changes or whatever, I wonder what's actually changing.
Right.
You know, when we talk about the progress of the
Well,
team in
sounds
football
like
and actual decisions, I feel like it's just...
Jack Easterby and Bill O'Brien got a paycheck increase.
Yeah, I feel like more than anything, they just got like an actual bump in salary or whatever, and I don't know if anything is actually going to be different, right?
Listen, wait. H-Town, hear me out real fast. Listen, it reminds me of when Donald Trump got his physical when he was running for president, and it came out, and he read it. He read the report from the doctor who saw them, let him know he had a good, healthy bill. And the doctor, when he read it, was using the same exact language that Donald Trump would use. Like, he's totally healthy. Like, no doctor says totally healthy. And when I'm hearing this crap that Kyle McNair said, it almost sounds like as if Bill O'Brien wrote this draft for him. I mean, listen, we are in a state of despair. Next year, I think, is not going to be a winning season at all for the Texans because those draft picks are crucial for us. And here's another thing people don't realize is that there's a possibility we're not even going to sign Tunsil. And we traded all these draft picks for Tunsil because when we got him, we didn't make sure that he was already a secured contract. So then what happens next? We don't have a running back. We have secondary issues. We have defensive pass rush issues. I mean, the only thing that we have, and we're going to continue watching the Texans, is Deshaun Watson we trust.
Robert Salah. Just remember that name.
Right.
Anyways,
What else
so
is
from
going on in Houston,
one
man?
promotion to the next, I don't know if you guys heard, but this is the Sports Trapp podcast. My name's John Trapp. Christopher Rodriguez joining me. Khoa as well. The reports out there that Dusty Baker, the one and only Dusty Baker, is the front runner to become the manager for the Houston Astros. And they're working out contract details, but pretty much it's the biggest secret or non-secret in the MLB at this moment. But
That's how they came out.
How do you?
1 year. They're going to give him 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year. So do you
With the
think,
possibility of an extension.
oh wow, dude, who would do that? I mean, he is kind of old. No offense, but
He's 70.
I think it's a safe face. I think because
it's official.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was on ESPN today.
He has a
Before when?
short-term deal. Is it a year? I
It's a
don't know.
year. It's 1 year deal. I think that I think what Crane wanted to do was establish true leadership. Be able to have a coach in there that's going to be able to help the Houston Astros get through what's going to be ultimately one of probably the hardest seasons that any team's ever endured, because everywhere they go is going to be negativity. These guys say they're ready, but I don't think they're ready.
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is him being a microphone for a scandal, a cheating scandal. But, I mean, Dusty Baker came up with the San Francisco 49ers.
You mean Giants?
Or excuse me, my bad. I'm sorry.
I get it. I get it.
Anyways, San Francisco Giants. So he came up with them, but who many writers, reporters, and general public think is one of the biggest cheaters of all time, in Barry Bonds. So I don't understand how that necessarily brings in a new form of leadership when he himself essentially had to look the other way.
Well, the thing is that Barry Bonds was doing that behind closed doors, and when it did come out, Dusty Baker was able to at least keep the professionalism and keep the morale high.
Okay.
Obviously, Dusty Baker is an all-time winning coach. He has not been able to actually win a World Series. He's getting probably the most talented team he's ever received or ever had in his career. And I think for the Astros, I think they want to do everything they can, because obviously Dusty Baker is so respected. He's a class act. I think they want to put somebody who's not going to micromanage the players, but at the same time, that's going to really, really get them to really focus on the love of the game the right way, and hopefully be their moral compass and lead them the right way. Because this is going to be a tough season. Listen,
yeah.
Everybody's coming for the Astros.
Right. Bob Crane came out and he had a little something to say about Dusty Baker. So throughout his successful career, but Dusty has embodied the qualities that we are looking for in a manager. He's a winner, and more importantly, a strong leader who has earned the respect of not only his players, but virtually everyone that has touched the baseball. We're extremely excited to name Dusty as a new leader of our ball club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Astros are going to need every positive perspective and attitude they could possibly have in that dugout. I mean, Dodger fans are buying Angels tickets just so they can go there to boo. And then I'm also hearing
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've been hearing on national media sports radio that they feel that almost every stadium that the Astros are going to go to, that the pitcher is going to throw at them, just to let them know, kind of give that warning. And I actually believe that's actually going to happen. I wonder how many teams are really going. We already know they're going to get balls thrown at them if they play in New York. We already know they're probably going to get balls thrown at them if they play in Boston, Washington. The Astros are going to have to keep their composure. And that's what I'm wondering. A team that couldn't keep their composure behind closed doors and do the right thing, will they be able to keep their composure in front of millions and millions of people who are going to be gunning for them on a daily basis?
Yeah, he's one of the oldest. So he's only bested by Casey Stengel, who's 71, and Jack McKeon, who was 80 when he was hired by the Mariners. I think I remember that head coach. But yeah, he's up there. 1-term deal, one year deal with the option of the club bringing him back. So we'll see, man. I guess I'm excited, but it's a hard, steep uphill climb. Also, I'd be remiss. We did bring it up a little bit earlier today, but the Australian Open has begun, and Khoa, help me out. What Nadal and what's his name? He had a fierce little battle.
Yeah, what's going on down under? What's going on?
So they're almost through to the this weekend will be the final. This coming weekend will be where it wraps up, and it's a pretty as far as the men's side, you still have they're down to the quarterfinals or the semifinals, I should say. They have Federer and Djokovic, of course, two of the awesome GOATs of all time playing each other in the semis. But Nadal, I think the biggest story right now is that Nadal just got knocked out in the quarterfinal round by Dominic Thiem, and he had a great game. Had some crucial breaks and points. So Nadal, of course, a heavy crowd favorite in a lot of people's eyes, is knocked out after that great game that we talked about against Nick Kyrgios, who is the hometown hero from Australia, who wore the Kobe jersey. So he got out of that one, but he lost in like I said, in the quarterfinals. So it'll be interesting. I'm glad to see Federer and Djokovic still in it, of course, which is, I mean, when we're thinking about it, it's just crazy how long they've been in it. We've mentioned it before. To stay a dominant force in a sport where it's an individual sport where it's incredibly tough to get through these tournaments.
It's actually tournament versus the best every time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not like 2 out of 3 games or a series. I mean, once you lose, you're out. So the fact that they've made it that far and they consistently do so says a lot about them, which is great. So, but yeah, Thiem will be playing Alexander Zverev, which is another great player in the semis as well. So it'll be exciting. I think on the women's side, it's actually a lot more
open.
Yeah, I don't know if
Serena's out, right?
Yeah, Serena's out. And in the semis, the number 1 seed Barty actually just got knocked out by Kenin, which
another
just
American.
Finished, I believe.
She's ranked 14th.
Yeah, and then actually I believe happening right now is going to be the other match, which is Halep versus Muguruza. Yeah, so names that are, I think, less known, of course, but that'll be an exciting one. So that's going to be wrapping up this weekend, same weekend as Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. If Nadal's not in it, he's always my favorite, of course, my favorite player. But besides that, man, Federer is, probably my all-time GOAT. So I'll be rooting for Federer, but it should be good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Djokovic, but I think he's playing kind of hobbled, right? A little injured. He had to pull out the last tournament, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks to be back in great shape. He's the 2nd seed, and he's been playing pretty lights out. And yeah, when he's on, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to beat him. He's such a clean striker. But Federer's just one of those people where everyone, when they play Federer, he seems to just be able to pull out magic, however he does. So, like I said, that'll be a good match. I think the semis, of course, that match in itself will be, it's one of those where, oh man, that should have been the final.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that match is, of course, with their history and with how great they are, that'll be a matchup to look out for. But I still think no matter what happens, the final will be exciting. So we'll see what happens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sports Trapp Podcast. My name is John Trapp, Christopher Rodriguez, Mr. Khoa. One last thing I want to cover. Did you have anything?
I mean, we hope this being a Houston-based show, we could at least talk a little bit of the Rockets.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird subject right now for me because they've been through. It's weird. Like they'll have a 3-game stretch, 4-game stretch where they lose, and then you're without James Harden, without Westbrook, without Capella, and E.G. Eric Gordon drops 50, and we pull out a win of course the arch rival nemesis from back in the days of Karl Malone and John Stockton, Utah Jazz. It was still a good feeling though, was it not?
Yeah, especially since they've been the hottest team in the NBA, and they came out and just played incredible basketball. Even Austin Rivers played great. Daniel House played good, and that guy drives me absolutely crazy.
So What you got?
Well, then with that excitement, we get pumped up because we're gonna play the Trailblazers, and James Harden's back, and Clint Capella's back, and Westbrook's playing, and we lose.
Houston sports story, dude.
It just feels like the Rockets still haven't figured out who they are, who they want to be, and I told you this season, you got to pick it up because, look, they lost 4 out of 5, and then now they're fighting for the 6th, 7th, the 8th place. That's how close the NBA is in the West.
I told you that's how it's gonna be.
And remember what I told you? Right? We talked about it. I told you, man, look out for the Utah Jazz. They're gonna be something because they had some players out. They're gonna be special. And then now, the Lakers. I can only see them using this to catapult. We've been part of that when something tragic happens. We saw it with the Astros, right? We saw how everybody, came around the team, and that's how we were able to keep ourselves afloat, dealing with so much hardships. That city's hurting in LA. So now, LA just seems like at this point they feel like they're just not beatable. You know what I mean? They're gonna be solid. So, I know I get a lot of comments telling me that, hey, can we make sure we talk about Houston sports? And of course, this is a Houston sports podcast, and we're always gonna talk about our Houston teams. But sometimes, if we talk about them, it's gonna come across like we're being extremely negative because right now only negative things are happening. So, with that being said, we're also gonna talk about other things that are going on in the sports world, of course. But John, man, I'll let you carry us out, man.
So, Russell Westbrook went for 39.
Okay.
James Harden went for 18. Russell Westbrook took 29 shots. James Harden took 18. I don't know what to say, but James Harden was 2 for 8. Another subpar game, I guess, if you want to say.
He's hurt. I think he's more hurt than he's letting on because when the start of the season he had a knee brace and we never seen that before. He's played more basketball than anybody. And personally, I actually think that it'd be the smartest thing if he really is hurt. From what I'm reading, that there's definitely some concerns there. They need to sit him out as long as he can. Look, this man has already proved to the world that he loves to play basketball. He's not pulling a Kawhi Leonard, which he picks and chooses when he wants to play or not. I think James Harden, if he's hurt, he needs to sit down, put his pride aside. I think Russell Westbrook has shown that he is the vocal leader of the team, and let the team, win on their own and keep James Harden healthy.
So I think that I figured it out. Westbrook is an amazing player, but he's not the it player. If you just look at his record, he'll get your team to the playoffs. He'll do everything that you need to do as far as getting your team to the playoffs and being that vocal leader, being everything. He had 39 points. Another loss. The person on his opposite side had a triple-double, Damian Lillard. They won. Who bested him? What was it, a year or two ago?
Shut up, John.
Shut up. It just...
They
went through a whole series, and Damian Lillard balled on Westbrook.
Yeah, Damian Lillard told him the last time they played, and I think it was like January 19th, that you better hope you don't see us in the playoffs again. Ooh, that's fucked up.
I don't know,
point,
man.
he's got his number.
If you're saying what you're saying and it's true, with James Harden being injured, I'm scared. Honestly. I'll put it to you like this. I'd rather have James Harden shooting 30 times than I ever would want Westbrook to shoot 30 times.
Well, because then that there's a good 50% chance that James Harden's going to go in, and there's a 50% chance that Russell Westbrook's going to break.
Well, Westbrook's bread and butter is the 2-point game, mid-range.
Did you guys get a chance to watch that Utah game, though? I thought it was interesting that they spread the ball around, they were moving the ball around, and it seemed like there was way more flow. And even Austin Rivers, when he talked after the game, he alluded to it. And I also read on Clutch Fans, shout out Clutch Fans, our good boy CyberX, who always comes in with the behind the closed doors thing, said that Russell Westbrook recently called out James Harden having the worst attitude on the team, but that only he can do it because they're best friends, and he did it in a way where it was direct, it wasn't passive aggressive, and it was in a way that wasn't disrespectful, but in a way like best friends do, like, yo, bro, you're tripping right now. You need to get your shit together type of stuff. And so a lot of it has to be with James Harden having a bad attitude because he's in a shooting slump. And I think the shooting slump alludes to the fact that he doesn't have a lot of umph on the court because it looks like he's playing hurt. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I've said it before, on the show, even talk to Calvin about it just last night, just about how that's what I wish about our game that is lacking. I think we heavily rely so much on perimeter shooting, and that's the style of play that we choose to play, that when it's not, when they're cold and they're not making these shots, like what is the game plan then? And I think that time and time again, when I hear you say, like, when you'd rather have Harden take 30 shots, but I mean, if he's cold, and you can just only for so long work your way through it, let's say, in that game. And then also the fact that, I mean, if he is hurt, I don't want him out there shooting 30 times, because then.
What was I going to say? I was you brought it up. You need to manage these injuries, man. You take a game off. It's okay. I'm sorry, and I hate to even, compare the two, but you're not Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant could come in every day. Everybody's built differently. Mm-hmm. But now let's look at the physical science behind taking care of your body. If you refuse to look at that and say that you can run 60 miles a day and saying that I'm not going to manage my injuries, I'm not going to manage my soreness, I'm not going to manage, things that I have to do in order to keep my team in the tip-top running shape as I can, then what's the point?
I think I think first and foremost, I think one of the worst things that's ever happened to the Rockets is that they became so dependent on James Harden. That James Harden took that burden, and now he doesn't know how to play any other way but to be that burden and be the one who feels like he can carry the team.
I mean, going back to comparing plays, looks a lot like Carmelo Anthony when, you see in the tail end of his career, it's getting hard. And what is James Harden going to find himself in that similar situation?
I find it ironic too that the fact that when you go back and watch the Utah Jazz game, D'Antoni was running real plays and he was actually calling timeouts and strategizing and he was full in the game. And then all of a sudden tonight, from what it looks like, it was just like dribble. All the double to me, let me pass it with 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock. Ben McLemore jacks up a 3. There was no fluidity to the game. And again, listen, for all those people who attack James Harden, he is one of the best basketball players in the game right now. His basketball IQ is high. He's a great passer. He's not a selfish player. But you got to understand, for a very long time, the Rockets wanted him to be the superstar, told him to be the superstar, told him that we can't win without you, so you got to keep shooting. And now it's almost as if when he doesn't have the ball in his hand, we just see a completely different person. We see somebody walking up down the court. Yeah. We see somebody not involved. We see it comes across if he's pouting. I like to believe he's not pouting, but it's not good for the game.
No.
And obviously under a D'Antoni offense, when ran properly, you get shout out to our boy Eric Gordon, who scored 50 points. And to me, that was such an amazing moment for him because you could tell how happy he was. Mm-hmm. But you could tell how happy the team was. And honestly, I've been that person. And,
score 50 points?
No, I wish. In my head, I do. But it's the hardest thing is when you have somebody on your team that's dribbling and shooting and offensively, they're offensively good, but they're making sure that their game comes first. And all you're doing is just sitting on the perimeter. You can't get into the game.
Right.
So all of a sudden, everyone's double teaming, triple teaming that person, and then all of a sudden they want to pass it to you, and then you have to shoot the ball, but you're cold as hell because you've just been standing there, rebounding defense, and not shooting the ball. And for most shooters, you have to get into the rhythm of shooting. So when I see Eric Gordon miss shots and I see PJ Tucker miss shots, it's because they've been too busy just standing there. And I just think now Russell Westbrook and James Harden are going to have to do, and D'Antoni, they're all going to have to collectively come together and say, listen, the only way we're going to be able to beat the Lakers in the championship is if everybody has the ability to be involved in the game.
There's strategy that needs to be employed.
Yeah.
And D'Antoni, like you said, if he's on the sideline calling plays for other players, he can do this while James Harden and Westbrook.
Listen, if James Harden is not, listen, I have never been above that. I understand the superstars are superstars, but I'm gonna tell you, have some balls. If Russell Westbrook is not playing to the game plan, and if James Harden's not playing to the game plan, sit his ass at the end of the bench. That's what made Popovich special, because he never allowed the egos of those superstars to outweigh the most important thing of the game. Listen, James Harden is a man. He has an ego. Listen, you sit his ass on the bench. You tell him to sit on the bench. It's because you're playing horribly. You have a bad attitude. Get your shit together. Tomorrow's a new day. It's up to him as a man if he's going to come back the next day and have that Mamba mentality that, hey, I had a shitty day yesterday. Today's a new day. Let me be a better version of me. Boom.
I mean, you could say it like quote for quote. I mean, Kobe even went out and said it like, doesn't matter if I score 40 points and win versus 10 points and win. Like, you know,
absolutely.
Like a win is a win. He's going to do everything he can. He said, whether I'm, you know, on the court shooting or I'm on the, you know, bench, like
cheering,
waving my towel, cheering, like he's going to do whatever it takes for the team to win. And, you know, it's perfectly contrary to the example of that, of any time that Harden is on some sort of slump or things aren't going his way, he's not getting the calls that he wants or whatever, you know, he's flailing his arms and then he just sort of gives up, lets them on a fast break without, you know, playing two ways. And it's just like, stuff like that is, I think, the most frustrating when it comes to Harden. And, you know, as dominant as he is and has been offensively, I just wish, like, you know, the rest of his game and his attitude would match that. And it doesn't break down if whenever, you know, he's on a slump.
Did it bother anybody that Russell Westbrook didn't play in Utah, but he was there on the bench? James Harden flew with the team, but he was nowhere to be found on the bench. And not only that, something that did bother me is the fact that Eric Gordon scored 50 points. And I just would have thought, as the leader, as a franchise player, that there would have been a message on Twitter or just something from James Harden congratulating
building him up
and praising
really,
Eric Gordon. There was nothing. Matter of fact, we haven't heard anything from James Harden in quite some time. And to me, that makes me wonder what's really going on behind closed doors for James Harden and for the Rockets. And it's actually kind of, as I'm talking about it, makes me really nervous. So, yeah, go Rockets.
Well, egos might be playing a part in it, but we'll see. I hope that, you know, D'Antoni and Westbrook and James Harden can figure this out and include EG, because obviously EG, 11 years between 50-point games.
He can play, though.
Yeah. It's apparently the greatest span ever between 50-point games. So, yeah, man. All right, fellas. I think we've hit pretty much everything that is to hit. It's an emotional day. It's been a wild ride, man. But I'm proud. I'm proud to say that we did it. I'm proud to say that, you know, if we provided any solace, any comfort, any you know, good vibes and energy out there to the universe to help anybody, man. I feel like I've done my job. You know, it could be just one person, and want to take this Mamba mentality to the next level. I always tell Khoa, I just want to get better. If not by an inch or a mile, if not by a mile, by an inch. So I'll take that to heart. I'll take that to the grave. That's my MO. You know, like I said, man, I've never been more motivated.
Hell yeah, man. That's the only way to be. Also, I just want to mention, if it makes you feel any better, Calvin texted me earlier about Mattress Mac bet $1 million on the Niners.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he's been wrong the past 2 times. That's not made me.
So I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
No, he's gonna get all his money he lost. But you gotta get one of these bets right. He's gonna get this right. 49's gonna win.
So I don't know if it was a good sign or a bad sign, but you know, you got Mattress Mac behind it.
I heard he lost like another $3 million to the playoffs of the NFL.
Oh man, I don't know what he's been.
Don't bet on my 49ers. Stay away from that.
So we'll see how to.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think he's gonna get his money back. I actually was prepared tonight to tell you guys that I was gonna be stepping away from the show for a while. Priorities are important right now, and other than hearing Kobe Bryant pass away, which broke my heart. I'm dealing with that. The next day, I'm having to deal with some other things that's personal. But at the same time, I think Kobe's death also put in perspective that you're always gonna have struggles in front of you and behind of you. It's how you deal with them, And I was actually prepared to tell you guys that, I'm not gonna be on the show anymore. So what I am gonna say though is this: I am going to be on the show when I can. And when I can, I know you guys understand. For many ways, the show ended up becoming therapy for me for some hardships I experienced beforehand, and kind of helped me get in perspective and get me back focused, and got me, in reality, got me to be able to be where I was. And life has a great way of said it before, of punching you in the throat and the ball sack all at the same time. And then looking you straight in your eyes and saying, what are you going to do about it? But the one thing I will refuse to do is quit. And one thing I refuse to do is stop being me and losing the importance of positivity. Struggle obviously is it's a beautiful struggle. And it's how we deal with it that makes us who we are as men. And plus, I got a wife and I got an incredible son, and I'm living a good life. I have good friends and good company, and Calvin is my friend. So I'm living a good life, better than most, and so I'm gonna focus on those things. So if you don't see me sometimes, just dealing with some things, and if you do see me, hey, I was able to make it. So without a doubt, either way it goes, I couldn't see myself not having you guys and the Sports Chat podcast in my life. So sometimes when things happen in our lives, we want to just stop everything and we want to just ball up and become a roly-poly and just poor me, why me? But that's not what life's about.
Yeah.
So just want to tell you guys that I am going to be around. May not be around as much, but anyway, in every way I can possibly, support the show. And who knows, maybe tomorrow everything gets better and I'm able to be here on a full-time basis. But either way it goes, I love the Sports Shop podcast. I love you. In
the words of Gianna Bryant, Oi, I got this. I got us and I got you.
Appreciate
whatever
you,
you
man.
need, we're here for you, bud.
Appreciate
all
that,
right.
Man. I appreciate that.
Don't be too proud, man.
Nah.
I got you. All right.
Yeah.
All right, this is the Sports Trap Podcast. We're signing out. Thank you so much for joining us. Please leave a comment below, subscribe, share this podcast with your friends and your family. I want to get this message out to as many people as we can. Man, H-Town, stand up. Loud and proud, baby. I'm out.
Go Niners.
What? How am I supposed to? Yep.
Peace.